Hola clase, espero que todos estén muy bien. I know that I'm not here this week because I am across the pond, but that doesn't mean that we are not going to continue working on things necessary for Spanish 4. What we're going to do this week is work with the present tense, and we're also going to learn how to efficiently use a bilingual dictionary. Hopefully you have already gone through these 1 through 20 phrases and decided if they are true or false. If you have not gone over the answers with the sub, please pause the video and do so before continuing. If we look at part B, this is where you're going to have some notes on the bilingual dictionary, and you can take notes here. If you need additional space, please feel free to use a sheet of notebook paper or a notebook to make additional notes. We will be having a quiz on the bilingual dictionary on Friday, even though I'm not here. So if you have any questions, you need to email me as soon as possible. Since I'm in England, I'm going to be 6 hours ahead of you, so if you have a question, make sure you email me as soon as possible so that I can answer that question in a timely manner. Today, we're going to talk about some different quirks of bilingual dictionaries, and then for the rest of the week, we're going to practice both the present tense and how to use a bilingual dictionary. Again, if you have any questions, make sure that you send me an email, or you can always pop across the hall to Senora Cañengas and she will help you out as well. So let's get started here with our bilingual dictionary. So number 1 here for the Diccionario Bilingüe, the number of entries is not the same thing as the number of choices per entry. Okay, so the number of entries is not the same as the number of choices. So I'm going to go ahead and show you an example. If you need to go back in order to copy the slides down, to copy these notes, please make sure that you go back and pause as needed. So here's an example of the dictionary choices that you have for the word can. So if you notice here, you've got 3 different entries: can 1, can 2, can 3. Okay, now all of these mean different things. The first can is the verb, as in, can I go to the bathroom, can you help me? The second one is the verb can, as in, I'm going to can this tomato and make a jar of salsa. Okay, and can number 3 is the noun, which is the can of salsa that you will be making. Okay, so those are your number of entries. Now, if we look at can number 1, you're going to notice that you have a lot of different options here. Okay, you could use poder, and you can use podría, you could use tener permiso. There's lots of different ways that you can use this verb can. Okay, so we've got 3 different entries, but if we look in each entry, there are several choices. If we look at can number 2, you've got latar, envasar, despedir, echar. We've got tons of different ways that we can use this word can. So you've got 3 entries, and within each entry, you've got different choices. So make sure that you really look at the context of your sentence to make sure that you pick the right version. Okay, let's look at number 2. A dictionary defines a bilingual dictionary offers choices. So what that means is, if you do not know what a word means in English, the bilingual dictionary is not going to help you. If we go back one slide and look at, for example, canon over on the second column here, it's not going to define what a canon is for you. So if you don't know what that word means, you need to look it up in a normal dictionary. Okay, a bilingual dictionary is only going to offer translation choices for you. Number 3, there is no word to get in Spanish. They are all expressions. Okay, there is no word for to get. So let's look at our examples here. This is only half of 2 pages of entries in the Merriam-Webster Spanish-English Dictionary. And you can see that there are just tons of different translations here. So if we start at the top here, we've got get as in bring and fetch. If we go down to number 2 here, we could say, okay, I got to get the door or get the phone. We've got obtain. So all of these are different phrases. So we've got, for example, traer is bring or to fetch. We also have to get an illness, like to catch a cold. So these are all different phrases that we use. So when you want to use the word to get in an essay or in a speaking assignment, what you want to really look at is the context of the word. Are you saying get as in, I'm going to bring you a glass of water, I'm going to get you a glass of water? Are you saying, oh yeah, I got sick this week, okay, I contracted an illness? You really need to look at your context, because there is no one word for to get in Spanish. They're all separate phrases. Okay, so that's going to be a little bit tricky. You're going to have to read through the dictionary entries. You will get faster as time goes on, but it will be a little frustrating at first. The same thing goes for the word off. There is no word for off in Spanish. So for example, if you want to say turn off the lights, that's going to be the word apagar. If you want to say something like I'm going to send you off, that's going to be a totally different word, despedir. So you want you want to make sure that you're looking at your context of off, and that again is going to be a set of different phrases versus to turn off, to put off, like that puts me off, or to get off something. They're all going to be different phrases, so you're really going to have to look, you might have to look up a different phrase, okay? You might have to look up the word put, you might have to look up the word to turn off, so you might have to look up different words other than the word off. If we look at a dictionary entry, so number 5 here, a comma denotes that it is the same meaning, so those would be synonyms. A semicolon means that you are going to change the meaning. Now this is not the same for every dictionary, so if you're looking at your dictionary entries and you're confused as to what all the commas and semicolons mean, let me know and I can help you interpret it, because every dictionary is slightly different. So let's look at another dictionary entry and I'll show you what I mean. If we look over here at the left-hand side that says lawful and lawfully, okay? If we look right here, you've got a comma right after legalmente. So legalmente and lícitamente both mean the same thing. They are synonyms, so you can use them interchangeably. Okay, if we look at the right hand side with our lovely friend to get, okay, when we see that semicolon right there, we now know that we are going to change meaning. So we've got the first meaning, I'm going to get my coat, versus could you get the boss please. Okay, so we've got two different meanings there, denoted by the semicolon. Okay. Number 6 is probably one of the most important things that you're going to want to do when you get your bilingual dictionary if you don't already have it. The table of contents is a must read in order to find a guide to the abbreviations. Okay, this is the key for how you are going to decode your dictionary entries. So this is what it will look like at the beginning. So you've got different abbreviations. So for example, you have an abbreviation for adjective, ADJ. You've got one for adverb, one that's Latin American Spanish, one that's Andean Spanish, so Peru and Ecuador, so it's going to tell you all of these things. If you're looking at a dictionary entry and you don't understand what it's telling you, then what you're going to want to do is go back to the abbreviations key and look at what that might mean. So if we go back, okay, at some of this, if we look at law enforcement officer, the tiny little N right here, that stands for noun, okay? And so now I know that that is a noun, that is a person, place, or thing, and it's not going to be like a verb, for example, okay? So you want to look at your table of contents and find your abbreviations and use that whenever you get confused. If we look at number 7, parts of speech is crucial for understanding. Now when I talk about parts of speech, what I'm talking about is the difference between a noun, a verb, an adjective, a preposition, all of those grammar terms that we have been learning since Spanish 1. There is a difference between a verb and a noun. A verb is an action, a noun is a person, place, or thing. So when we think about the word can, for example, are you talking about the noun can, as in a can of worms? Or are you talking about the verb can, like can I go to the bathroom, may I do this? Or are you talking about the verb can, like, oh man, that person got fired, we canned her yesterday. So you want to make sure you look at parts of speech and make sure that you pick the right one for your essay or for your speaking. We will talk more specifically about parts of speech tomorrow, but for right now, let's just know that parts of speech are super important to understand in picking the right word for your essay. Context is also crucial for understanding, and again, if we look back at our example to get, we really need to look at the context of what we're saying, okay? Am I saying get as in I want to bring you something, or am I saying get as in have you gotten your car fixed yet? ¿Te han arreglado ya el coche? Have you got the car fixed? So those are two different meanings of the word to get. They are not interchangeable because it will not make sense if you say, hey, have you gotten your car brought to you yet? Probably isn't going to make as much sense as have you got your car fixed yet with arreglado. So you want to look at your context as well. Okay. Now one way to determine, hey, did I pick the right word? Is my context correct? Is to, number 9, cross-reference. So cross-referencing is when you look up one word and then you confirm that you have the right translation in the other language. So for example, I'm going to go back a slide to get. Let's say I'm trying to say, okay, I got my mom a glass of water. And I look up here, okay, bring, fetch, traer. Now, if I've never seen the word traer before, I might be a little hesitant to use it because how do I know if I have the right word? Well, you're going to know if you go to the Spanish half of your dictionary and you look up the word traer. And when you look up the word traer in your dictionary, you're going to see that it means to bring or to fetch. So the cross-referencing is just confirming that you have chosen the right word in the right context. Okay, so cross-referencing, it is a little time-consuming. However, you will need it less and less the more you advance through the language. So it will be a lot of upfront work, but it's worth it to make sure you have the right word. The last thing I want to talk about are idioms. Okay, idioms are slang and they can be tricky. You will want to rephrase it before looking up. We do not have the same idioms across cultures. We have different idioms in English than they do in Spanish. A great example is it's raining cats and dogs. They do not have that specific phrase, it's raining cats and dogs, in Spanish. So if you go up to a Spanish speaker who knows nothing of English and you say, mira, está lloviendo gatos y perros, they might think, holy crap, it's the apocalypse. Cats and dogs are raining down from the sky. They will take it literally because that is an idiom of the English language that does not translate. So if you want to use a phrase that doesn't translate, like it's raining cats and dogs, you're going to want to rephrase it before looking it up. Okay? And that goes with things like to get and off and other words like that. Okay, so that's it. I will post this on the Google site. You can also ask your sub to go back and look at some of these slides if you did not have time to copy them all down. Okay? If you have any questions, email me. This information will be on your quiz on Friday. Okay? And I will get you a study guide for that probably Wednesday or Thursday. Tonight, your homework has nothing to do with the dictionary. It's going to be a little bit of practice with our present tense. And what you're going to do is write me a little paragraph about your vacaciones ideales. Okay? So if you have any questions, email me or pop across the hall to Señora Cañengues. Okay? Hasta mañana, chicos. I'll have another video for you tomorrow about parts of speech.